Well, here I am sitting in the woods in a dry creek bed, which is kind of cool actually. Maybe I could show it to you. That is actually where water used to run. And right now we've had such a dry summer, like really dry, crazy dry summer, that Vancouver's more like Los Angeles used to be. And with my dog, of course, Leela. Well, she's around me, hovering around. Anyway, I didn't bring a tripod with me, so I have to use my arm to hold my camera, so if it's a little shaky, sorry. I was meditating this morning and I heard the song by the Beatles, Let It Be, and the other part of the lyric, you know, about Mother Mary. I'd sing it, but I'm such a bad singer. Okay, let me try. You know, Mother Mary, come to me. Of something, words of wisdom, let it be, let it be. And then later in the afternoon, or the morning still actually, about 11 o'clock in the morning, Leela stopped jumping around, you're knocking my camera. I was informed on Facebook by a friend posting a blog to my page that it was the Mary Magdalene feast day. And that's more than a small synchronicity in my life. This July 22nd, in which I'm recording it. Today is the day I have made a final break in my actions, I suppose, to formally leave a spiritual teacher that I was with for about a year and a half, and to whom I dedicated a lot of my time and my love. And still the love is there, but what is not there is the willingness to participate in that particular teacher's agenda. And at the same time, something absolutely magical is happening in my own life to do with the feminine face of God. And a friend of mine, a few years ago, 2 years ago, had a profound experience in a church in France where she heard the voice of the Mary Magdalene speaking to her. And this was actually a place where the Mary Magdalene's relics are said to be stored. I think it's Vézelay. And she was given instructions, basically a story of the Magdalene's life and instructions about what the Magdalene is wanting of humanity. And it's not about like women, and it's not about men, it's not about the masculine versus the feminine or the patriarchy as opposed to the matriarchy. Both have had their time. Matriarchy was followed by patriarchy. I'm sure they both had their downsides. And now we're looking at the possibility of a third option, and that's what's emerging, and that emergent third option is what I'm excited to be a part of birthing into the world. It's not the old model of the teacher and authority, whether it's a man or a woman teacher, doesn't matter. It's the authority, top-down, hierarchical kind of model where one person holds the power and the rest are you know, in a sort of a tiered environment around them, you know. And believe me, it doesn't not happen when you have a teacher that has students. You always end up with inner circles, and then like a little bit of a circle out of that circle, and then a circle further out. And basically it's a pyramid too, just like you would look at a, you know, the tiers of a pyramid to the top. And it's fraught with danger. It's fraught with old paradigm. It's just too slow. It's just too slow for where we are right now. I said I would talk a bit about my mother's death this week, and I don't want to run too long. Upon her death, I had the recognition that my life was in service to the mother. I didn't know what that meant. But I want to tell you something about this thing of losing your own mother under shocking circumstances, you know, unexpectedly, is that it was an occasion where even as she left this world, I was given the gift of magical, synchronistic, incredible miracles around her dying, and that kept my spirit alive. It made me know that something bigger than me was happening, and that is a part of the movement of the feminine in its the divine feminine, or the feminine face of God. It is enchanting. It enchants us. I'm going to tell you my favorite story about my mom's death. Sounds funny, I know, but it's an after her death story. I went home for the funeral. I had to fly for like a few hours from the eastern coast of the US to Canada. And when I arrived in my hometown where she had died, and I must remind you she was hit by a car, if you didn't hear last week's video, as I was on my way to the house where she died, and meeting my sisters there, we were tasked with finding her will. Like, I knew that's what we were all gathering for. And we got together in her home and we looked for hours. And despite, you know, the fact that my mother was somewhat of a cluttered junkie in some of her closets, she had cleaned every single closet that was the worst, like the junk closet was so clean. I was like, oh my God, did she know she was leaving? I don't think she touched that closet in 30 years. But that's not the story. My sister said, oh, she cleaned it a week before she died. And funny enough, the day she died, she said to my other sister, I don't think I'm going to plant a garden next year. And she was a major gardener. So there were premonitory moments, okay, including some of my own dreams. But the funny story that I want to tell, the one that's really delightful, is that we had all but given up looking for the will. And I thought, you know, when we were kids, we used to do that whole, you know, hot, warm game for the Easter egg hunt. And my mom would say, you're getting warmer, you're getting warmer. And so I said to my sisters, why don't we ask her for help? Why don't we say, Mom, if you're there, give us a hand, you know, show us where it is by telling us somehow, give us a sign. And a few minutes later, one of my sisters came running down the stairs, or both of them actually, thundering down the stairs. I was in the living room at the time, and they were kind of freaked out. But this little baseboard heater in my father's bedroom, my father's passed away too at that point, in my father's bedroom was heating up, and the heater thermostat dial was turned off. Go figure. So yes, we found the will in his bedroom in a place we hadn't looked, but it was so much fun because when we found it, I actually went, oh my God, woohoo, Mom, thank you. And you know, that's the bizarrest thing to happen, you know, when you're in the middle of grief, but it was just one small way the enchantment showed up in what is for most people, of course, a time of great loss and shock. It was for me as well. But anyway, so I said I'd tell you a story, and that's the story. And in the meantime, I'm going to give you one last look at my beautiful creek bed. And here's my dog, Leela. Leela, can you say hi? There she is. She's going to be famous one day, I know it. I'm going to be her stage manager mom. Thank you so much for listening. Again, I'm over 3 minutes. I give up my 3-minute rule. Let's call it the 6-minute rule. Thanks for listening. Bye.